Okay, good afternoon students. We are going to continue with our previous topics. So before continuing with my topic, I just want to have some revision about my topic. So my topic was research methodology, what we have discussed. So what was the research? The research is a search of knowledge, and after that we are going to have some clear-cut ideas with respect to types of research. So types of research is nothing but conceptual research, empirical research, my descriptive analytical research, my applied and fundamental research, my quantitative and qualitative research, conceptual and empirical research. So after that we just started with our process guidelines, where we have just studied with each and every type in a clear way, and now we are going to continue with the next part, which is said to be my research design, where I started with my defining my problem with respect to nature and relationships, and then review of literature with respect to my theories and my research findings, and then formulating my hypothesis, which is nothing but assumptions of it, and then my research design with respect to my exploration, experimentation, diagnosis and tabulations, and collection of data with respect to primary data, secondary data like that. And now we are moving on to the next section called analyzation of data. So next thing is sample design. So before explaining about a sample, I gave you an idea what was the population. A population or the universe is said to be the entire thing of data when it is collected. I said you an example before, I'll repeat it. Like taking the Amet students entirely, that is all how much students are available in Amet. When I take it, it is said to be my universe or my population of Amet. When I take a sample, it should be a portion from my population. If it is like 300 students are there in Amet, then 300 portion will be my 150 to 160 my sample size can be. So the sample design gives me an idea how the population or what is the population, from that population how can I derive my sample. For example, in complete enumeration of all items, a population is called as census inquiry. For example, the Tamil Nadu's total population, if I say, automatically from that Tamil Nadu, Chennai population, if I am going to derive it, that will be my sample. So for a brief mention of important sample design, which is called deliberate sampling, where my sampling design is going to talk about how the particular sample is taken. The deliberate sampling is classified into two categories. One is judgment sampling, the other one is convenience sampling. So what it is? Judgment sampling is a sampling which is being done by the researcher, and the particular researcher will be contacted with his guide, and the guide will give the particular person what is the sample size from the population. It is not too solved or it is not given an exact one. For example, if I am going to do a Kanathur survey, in Kanathur survey, economic status of a Kanathur survey, but for the particular value or particular survey, I am going to have some data collection. So for that I require sample. So what may be the population? The population may be around 10,000 to 15,000. From 10,000 to 15,000, what can be my sample? How do I derive it? So just like that, the particular guide or the judge who is taking an inference of the particular problem, they will just say, okay, you can take 750, you can take 1,000 like that. So that can be a deliberate sampling, first type, judgment sampling. Next one is convenience sampling. According to the 10,000 or 15,000 people are there, according to the convenience of the researcher, when you go and find the people and done a survey with respect to the concept or with respect to the problem, that is called convenience sampling. So deliberate sampling is dependent on two different categories, judgment and convenience. So deliberate sampling is also, it is called purposive or non-probability sampling, where the particular sampling will not have any solution how the sample is derived from the population. The next one is simple random sampling. A simple random sampling will be otherwise called as chance sampling or probability sampling, where my random sampling will be taken accordingly. For example, this much students are seated over here. If I want to call even number students, will be taken for a random sampling, simple random sampling. If I am going to take odd number or even number or whole number or a prime number, if I say it in that order, then that comes under my simple random sampling. Then there is a differentiation between fives counting, tens counting, 20s counting, 20 counting, like that if I do it, automatically it is called simple random sampling. That is what over here. Every item in the population has an equal chance of inclusion in the sample, but the possible sample may be a finite universe. So everyone will be taken part in that particular sampling. But in which way I am going to do it, that will be under the decision of a questionnaire. If I am going to plan over here in the left, you are going to answer. If I say that, automatically it is of my choice. If I am going to give a chance to the right side people, it is of right side. If it is going to be in center. But everyone will be getting a chance and everyone will be framing on the question. You may ask the question if a particular person will be asked in first, and again the particular person will be repeated, then the particular solution will be in a confused or a biasing solution. Yes, it will be a confused and biasing solution. So the researcher or the questioner should be concentrated on the items in which they have to do it. For that reason, we say even numbers separately, odd numbers separately, or a fives counting separately, like that. So that the equal chances will be given for all people without any repetitions. Next one is systematic sampling. In systematic sampling, it is a procedural way of execution of this sampling. And a particular way of sampling will be having a select every 15th name on a list and every 10th house on the on-site of a street. For example, if I am going to carry out my research in the street, so every street or in Kanathur, every street 10th house will be my concentration and the 15th name or 15th people will be my concentration. So if I am going to have the particular rule, then that will be my systematic sampling. Or otherwise I can explain to you like this. Over here 20 people, in center 20 people, in right again 20 people. Totally 60 people are seated here. So in this 10 I am going to select 5. From this 10 I am going to select 10 and from that 20 I am going to select 15. If it is going to be in this order and everyone will be having the same order of calculation in a systematic way, then that is called systematic sampling. A stratified sampling is otherwise it will be like a strata or it is like division of probabilities. For example, if I am going to do my research in Chennai Port Trust. In Chennai Port Trust there are many divisions. From each division I will just have 3 classification of people. For example, class 1 people, class 2 people and class 3 people. So from class 1 people again I will differentiate male, female separately. And from again male I will differentiate from other countries, from our country. From again I will differentiate from that male how many people speak Tamil. So if I am going to formulate again and again in a very tuned format, then that is called stratified sampling. Otherwise, if I take Amet as an example, in Amet, how many foreign students, how many Indian students, and from Indian students, how many from Chennai, how many from Tamil Nadu, how many from other state, and from other state, how many people are male, how many female. If I am going to do it in a very much clear, refined format, then that is called stratified sampling. So systematic sampling is nothing but which is going to have a practical analysis in which series of information will be given. 5, 10, 15. In that order, if I am going to give a chance for my respondent, then that is called systematic. Whereas my stratified, which is going to be having a clear, refined format in a clear tree diagram format, then it is stratified sampling. The next one is quota sampling. The quota sampling which takes care how the interviews are carried out. The interviewers who is going to have filled up positions through collection of data. So while filling up data, how many items of sample they are collecting it daily. For example, if my target is 150 for a day, and for 150 I am completing with 130 and the remaining 20 will be carried out for the next day. So each and every time there will be a quota given to the researcher or the interviewer to complete on this target in finding the particular solution. So after completion of the 150, I need to do my calculation part for the particular day. Again the next day for 150, again the calculation is done and I need to find a solution. So each and every day my solution will be different and I need to arrive with the correct solution where there is no bias. So the quota sampling will be given a chance for everyone and at the same time for target achievement for interviewer, it will be quota sampling. The next one is multi-stage sampling. In multi-stage sampling, the development of the sampling, it is like how many areas I am going to cover it. That is, in quota sampling, we have like I am doing in Kanathur. But for multi-stage, it is like Kanathur, Tiruvannur, Kovalam. If I am going to have many areas together, automatically multi-stage sampling will appear. It is of many combinations, and over here it is a single combination where I am going to do a research, where my population are carried out, and from that my sample is derived and I will do a research. But over here in this, I am going to have many classification of people, and that I will refine to it, and I will just go for my convenient way of doing the research. Whereas my sequential sampling, which is having a combination like determined according to the mathematical decision how it is arrayed. For example, out of 300, a portion, a correct exact portion is 150. Out of 500, the correct exact portion is 250. If I am going to derive in that sample size, then that is called sequential sampling, where the exact sample size is derived from the population without any suggestive measures, only through the mathematical value or a mathematical decision if I am going to carry it out. That is called sequential sampling. And then we are moving on to the collecting of data. Before that, I'll just have a revision of types of design. So first type of design is deliberate sampling, which is having judgment sampling and convenience sampling, and then simple random sampling, where the chances will be given for everyone to do the process, and then systematic sampling, where my counting will be taken note, and from that counting my selection of people will be recorded, and stratified, which is a refined part of my execution, where it is like structure diagram or a tree diagram, where the particular product or the particular people will be arrayed at last. And then quota sampling, which will be given for the interview section, the target achievable, and multi-stages collection of many areas how my target is achieved, and sequential, a mathematical decision or a mathematical value to give my exact sample size, right? And then how to collect the data. Till now we just saw what was the research, how it is carried out, or how can I do my literature survey, and how do I do my hypothesis part, how do I assume it, and then what type of research design we have started, and what type of research we can have, which type of research I can carry on like that. Now, before moving on to a data collection, we should know whether which type of research we are. From the question or from the example economic survey of Kanathur, we decided it is a descriptive research, and for the descriptive research, it is purely a survey or a questionnaire method or any other method with respect to our data collection. So before moving on to the data collection, I said you before itself, it is primary data and secondary data with two different classification. So in primary data, we have by observation, by personal interview, telephonic interview, questionnaire, and through schedules. So what is observation method? So in observation method, a researcher directly involved in collecting a questionnaire from the respondent. If I go directly to the Kanathur place and I collect the details from the people and I will record it. And from the record, I will go for my conclusion. So when it is being done, it is observation. This observation method is divided into many classifications, that is structured observation, unstructured observation, participant observation, non-participant observation, and it is called determined observation and non-determined observation. So what is structured observation? A structured observation, that is, in some observation we are going to deal with first one. Structured observation is a researcher will frame who are my respondent, in which particular street I am going to do my research, and in which place I can conduct, whether it is a first house or an even house or it may be prime house, like that, in which type of design I am going to carry out, and after doing my research I will be put up in different classification. That will be my structured observation. What it is unstructured. Without having any idea, I'll just like to go to Kanathur, I'll find a street, I'll do my inquiry. So that is called my unstructured observation. Participant observation is I involve respondent to participate on my question for my inquiries, and where I do my record and I'll just save it. That is participant observation. There is non-participant observation is the observation which is being made through non-collection of details. That is, the participant will not have any biasing condition, and at the same time they will not give the truthfulness of the collection. So that will be non-participant observation. A direct observation and non-direct observation observation is people or the researcher who is going to do, I will be having my fitter or a secondary source of people who is going to have secondary inquiries. That is direct observation. Indirect observation, without my knowledge, there is different type of observation which is being done from my guide or through my instructor, then that is called my indirect observation. So observation is divided into 5-6 different categories: structured observation, unstructured observation, participant, non-participant, directed and non-directed. And then personal interview. Through personal interview, it is like easy way where you go and sit for a campus interview, where you sit for a personal interview. Direct interviews or a directly it will be question will be fired out, and from the reactions it will be analyzed whether they are biased or not biased, and with that information you can put up in a solution. In personal interview again, there is a classification like direct interview, indirect interview. That is, if the interview is being done directly like one-to-one communication, that is personal interview. If it is done through any video presentation or a video type of calling, then that is called indirect or unknown sources of an interviews. Then through a telephonic interview, where through the voice recorder or the voice messenger, if it is going to be recorded and saved and the particular data is going to be furnished for the mathematical value, then that is called telephonic interviews. Then mailing up the questionnaire, it is just through the questionnaire is framed and it will be scheduled accordingly through the different mail, and it is being collected through the mail itself, which the questionnaire is going to be acted like a direct way of contact, where the people will be seeing the questionnaire, they will be putting the values over that and they will be sending back to us. From these things, observation, personal, telephonic and interview, telephonic and questionnaire interview, the questionnaire interview will be a simple and easy cost of analyzation of data collection. Because through observation method, we need to spend a much, that is time saving is not there, and at the same time money involvement will be high. In personal interview again, it is really a time waste and for spending of money will be high. In telephonic interview, it is again you need to spend your time, own time on that in analyzing data. But for questionnaire, if you send it out and wait for it, automatically you will be getting a response. So the questionnaire type or the questionnaire, mailing of questionnaire will be the important and easiest way to do a data collection. And last, through schedules. A schedule is nothing but putting a tabular column in which a date or particular area in which I am going to do it through proper procedure schedule, and that is through schedules how I am going to carry out my research. So I'll just have a quick recap. By observation, personal interview, telephonic interview, questionnaire, and through schedules, the data is collected. So these data is being collected under a category of primary data collection. The secondary data collection is being done through website, newspapers, journals, and any other books. So it is called as secondary data collection. By primary data involved in observation, personal interview, telephonic interview, questionnaire, and through schedules. And then how do I execute my project? So the execution of a project has been done through how it is going to be formulated. For example, how do I explore my data? Before I explore my data, how I describe about my data. That is, how I describe about my problem. What is the economic status or finding the economic status of people living in Kanathur. If I am going to elaborately say my particular problem and I am going to do a research. That is what my execution part of description. And then I need to do my exploration. Exploration is how far people know about the particular topic, how do they explain about the topic, that is exploration. And then diagnosis, how I diagnose, how the result is given, whether satisfied, dissatisfied, neutral. So 3 category scale I need to make it, and I need to record whether they are satisfied, dissatisfied or neutral. That is type of exploration and diagnosis. And last one is how do I frame it, or how do I make my explanatory part. So after finding these things, how do I execute my part in terms of theory concept. That is my execution of my project. And then analysis, which is divided by categories, coding, editing and tabulation. So in which category my particular topic comes under. That is for survey, or whether it is like any findings or any other tested materials or any other type of research which is carried out, which is already repeated repeated again and again. So which type of category it is? The theoretical review or a survey review like that. And then I need to make my coding part. So the coding part comes under three categories which I explained you now: satisfied, dissatisfied, neutral. If I am going to give under three categories, so I need to code myself whether yes, double S, triple S like that, or a triangle, square, or a multiplication like that. So if I am going to give that particular code, that particular code will be recorded. And then after coding is given, my editing part will take under the control. So how many S is given, how many double S is given, how many triple S is given. If I am going to edit it, automatically my execution part will take care. And last one, after finding the numerical value of each S, double S, triple S like that for satisfied, dissatisfied, neutral, my tabulation part will take a clear information what is the status of my record. Whether it is a positive intention oriented or a negative intention oriented or it is biased solution. And next, the analysis work for tabulation is generally based on the computation of various percentages, coefficients, etc. And by applying a various well-defined statistical formula, I will derive it. I said you already, there is some statistical tools called regression, correlation, ANOVA method, which is used for factor comparisons like that, where my factor analysis will be taken into account, and this particular factor will give me an exact data which is positive correlated or negative correlated. If it is positive correlated, how can be the suggestive measures? If it is negative correlated, how can be the suggestive measures? It has been done through analysis. The next part is hypothesis testing. The hypothesis testing, we have chi-square test, E-test, F-test like that, where I mentioned correlation, regression like that, where the mathematical value will be arrived. In hypothesis testing, where it has been compared with my hypothesis of assumed data which is collected from a review of literature and that from our real findings. So these two will have information of comparison, and these two factors will have play an important role in doing my hypothesis testing, where it will be in accepting the hypothesis or rejecting my hypothesis, which will be giving me positive correlated or negative correlated or a positive result or a negative result. The next one is generalization and interpretation and preparation of the report. So what is generalization and interpretation? A generalization and interpretation is formally how you frame your report. The report, it paid who was going to state it, what was the researcher, who was the researcher, and how many times the researchers have done previous research, and how will be the research findings. Then how do I interpret the new research which I am going to do it. Then how do I prepare my research? It should be a main title, subtitles, my framework, and then how do I conclude it? Through the bibliographies. Okay, so I'll just have a quick recap of all the details. So defining research problem, my research concepts and theories, and then formatting my hypothesis, my design research, collection of data, analyzation of data, and interpretation part. This interpretation part, when it goes wrong, automatically my entire research will be under a type 2 error. So what it is? Type 2 error is nothing but where there is no modification of data or research can be done. It should be a rework. Again, you need to start from defining a problem. But if you have any problem over here or any error in this part, analyzation part, it can be gone to your design research or research design where some modification can be done, and again you can submit your report within a time. Otherwise, it should be a rework completely where it is called type 2 error. Over here, if it is going to be happened, then it is called type 1 error. So type 1 error is nothing but the modification can be done and the report can be submitted. Whereas type 2 error, which has happened here, where the report should be should be done a rework or a remodification after a complete set of action from defining a problem itself, not from the analysis part. Right? So I'm moving on to the next topic, method of data collection. So how do I collect my data, which is already explained, primary data and secondary data, which I am going to explain you through the concepts. So when I am going to say a possible relationship between the data and the unions of the particular universe, how I am going to do it, then economically, if I am going to significant of my report, then it is done through survey. If it is through only other type of researchers, then it is through the experiments. Collection of data, which was having observation method, interview method, questionnaires, schedule, and other method which is called warranty, distributor, pantry, consumer, and mechanical, projective techniques, my depth interviews, and content analysis. So I explained you already observation method, interview, questionnaire, schedules, and all. And now I am going to explain what is warranty cards. So warranty cards is another type of method where when you buy watch, you will get a warranty guarantee, right? So what is warranty card? If any problem has occurred in the duration of that time, a particular product will be gone for a replacement. So that type of thing is called warranty card. If I am going to do a research in Kanathur for this much time, for 1 month duration if I do it, and it will be valid for the next 1 year, then after that again the research has to be done for the 2015 to 2016. Again it should be done for 2016 to 2017. So it is guaranteed for a certain period of time. So that type of method is called warranty cards. The next one is distributor audits. A distributor audits is nothing but then and there, whenever it is required, the particular researcher will start their interview section. For example, if I go and buy a product in a Purvika, it's a mobile phone, I am buying it from Purvika. If suddenly it is getting any problem, so I just go and do an inquiry in Purvika, how many problems had just been happened for this particular product alone, and what is the solution for it. If I am going to do it, automatically the distributor audits or distributor analysis will be taken place. Then pantry audits is nothing but where the incoming and outgoing of the messages or the solution of the problem is recorded. Then consumer panels where the customer complaints or the customer feedback will be taken care. And my mechanical devices which will be having the entry of voting machines where you go and vote and where the device is collecting the information. That type of thing is called mechanical devices. And projective techniques is nothing but where the 5-year scheme or 2-year scheme where government is framed, that is will be a projective schemes. Then depth interviews where you go for your MR interviews or personal interviews through your campus interview. If you go, automatically they just fully analyze about your psychological attitudes, everything. So that is called depth interview. Last one, content analysis, why the particular topic is taken. How many people have taken already and why it is again done. That is called content analysis. So primary data collection, we have observation, interview, questionnaire, schedule, and the other methods. And in secondary data, we have the publications like journals and publication from the foreign governments where the international bodies, subsidiary organizations, which they involve, how they are involved, and what is their type of suggestive measures which is given. If I am going to take it, that is also secondary data. And technical trade journals, from that if I collect the information, then that is come under the secondary data. From books, magazines, newspapers, if I collect the details, that comes under secondary data. Reports, publications from the journal type, if I want to take what is the conclusion of the particular topic, what is the abstract of the particular topic, if I want to take, that comes under secondary data. Then reports prepared by research scholars or some other people who have the normal research and we have classified their research in better probability way, then that comes under secondary data, fully of theoretical review which I am going to do it. Okay, and the next, the public records and statistics, historical documents, if I am going to do it, then that will also come under my secondary data. So secondary data is entirely with 4 different concepts: books, newspapers, journals, and websites. Whereas my second primary data, which comes under observation, interview, questionnaire, schedules, and other methods. And the last topic which we are going to deal with now is what is the difference between my questionnaire and schedules. The questionnaire, which is going to be having my data collection in a popular method where my collection of data is done through only surveys. But my schedule, it is through properly allocated area and the particular people will be gone, not the researcher. Through the other indirect sources, it will be recorded and the researcher will do the confined studies. So till here, I will put my end card. So we will see you in the next class with case study methods. Okay, thank you.